first.
Now we're ready. Not bad.
Somebody taking minutes?
So Carol Chamberlain, who's online, is our
Okay.
new minute taker for us.
Hey, Carol.
So she'll be taking minutes for us.
So let us know if you don't hear something, or if we're not talking loud enough, or if you miss something, holler and we'll make sure you get it. All right, this is we got a busy night tonight, so we're gonna go right to old business. Continuation of permit number 23-501, Bristol Fire Department, 79 West Street, parcel number 225036 for site plan review for a fire training facility per Bristol Unified Development Regulations Article 3, Section 390. We had a hearing a few weeks ago, and it was recessed so that a landscaping plan could be developed.
Very last page. I'll be ready if you're rolling.
And so are you taking us through this, Chris?
Yep.
All right, so what's new? Because there are some trees there now. That's the
Correct.
shaded ones?
Yeah, let me share this so the rest of the world can see us.
You need to swear him in, or is he still sworn?
Yeah, actually, I should. Solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give before this development review board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, thank you, Ted.
Okay, so as you look at the plan here, this is the 4 shaded trees are existing trees that are in place, and the 3 light colored ones to the west are the new trees that would be added. The pin oaks. Myself and Chief LaRose met with Melanie Acker, a landscape architect, designer in the area. We did a site visit, observed the existing trees that are there, what the feel of the landscape is, the streetscape. Between that and the trees planted across the way that you can see that are very, very shaded along the east side in front of the new apartment building. It's actually a fairly good cover of hardwoods. As Melody put in her letter that she sent with these, that I want to get her exact wording because I thought it was the pin oak is a tall deciduous tree with beautiful fall color, fairly fast growth rate. Due to the receding elevation and the branching habits of the pin oak, I think the addition of these 3 trees will add enough of a screen to distract the eye away from the proposed training yard from the view of the apartments, while keeping it consistent with the clean look that the existing landscape provides. So that was one thing when we were there that we tried to keep in mind, is that there's not a lot of evergreens out there. It's a very open landscape, but yet at the same time, we wanted something to break up the structure that would be seen from Firehouse Drive.
So why nothing evergreen, given that 5 months of the year there won't be leaves?
Just the look and feel of everything else that is on the existing site. In front of the Firehouse Apartments, you'll see that there's half a dozen hardwood trees, the 4 hardwoods that are there, plus these, yes, at ground level, plus the way the ground slopes, as you're standing and you're looking from the roadside, you're actually looking about 6 feet above the structure. So it as these trees sit down a little bit too.
So the ground drops off away from Firehouse Drive.
Yes. So those back trees, you're actually, when we're looking at the current trees along Firehouse Drive, we stood at the apartment building itself. And at eye level, you're looking right smack dab into the branch structure of the 4 existing maple trees, I think, or honey locust trees that are there.
That's what's on the, in front of the apartments, or that's what's on
That's in-
the firehouse side?
That's on the firehouse side.
Yeah.
Oops, and Brenda has a question?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yes, Brenda?
You're muted.
We'll make good screening during the spring and the summer, but what about in the winter?
Yeah, it's a fine line. We really worked with. It's not, we're not trying to hide this thing. It's really not trying to hide a structure. We're trying to mitigate how distracting it is to the eye. And if we put evergreens or something that's a year-round tree, it changes the look and feel of the open landscape that we have right now, and the flow along the streetscape that was designed when this park was designed, from the firehouse, the apartments, and the business park behind us. So we're trying to keep with that look and feel. John's got a
And the
question?
Go ahead.
I still have one more question, and sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
Can I
John-
ask a question?
Yeah, John's next.
Okay, sorry.
ahead.
I just want to echo the concerns I've heard already. I'd like to see some sort of load, not just evergreen, but something on a lower level, perhaps. I mean, this is a stack of four shipping containers, and I think the more we can screen it, the better, frankly. And I'm less concerned with the openness of it than some greater measure of screening.
Tom?
So this is off the point, but I'm trying to understand it. On the, I guess it's the balance of the property from the for the industrial development. They're showing 657 northern white cedar. I guess that is that what I'm seeing along that other line? But they're
Along
very
here?
close. Yeah, are those deciduous trees, or are they evergreens?
They're evergreens. That's an existing tree line that they wanted that was beefed up.
Must have been planted if they're.
They aren't there yet. They will be there. I mean, there's an existing tree brush line. The tree line covers about half of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of 8-foot cedar that other folks are talking about. I personally can go along with the without the evergreens. I appreciate what you're saying about the openness. I don't actually think you have to visually screen this away. I think you just have to, you need some buffering here so that your eye isn't just looking at it. And so I'm good with this, but I'm just pointing out that there are some evergreens out there.
They've not, that's the Blittersdorf property, right?
That is correct.
And they haven't done the site planning yet?
They haven't finished up
Yeah,
yet.
they're still doing.
They're still in construction.
Yeah, there's so. site
Yeah,
work.
it's likely a spring thing for them, I would guess. I don't know when they're going to get their C of O, but they're not going to plant too much longer.
Okay.
So is there any screening between the apartments and the new houses and this huge industrial building that's just beyond the building that you're gonna build?
There will be some there's an existing hedgerow, and they are putting cedars out along, but not. I mean,
can see it
you're
on
still
the
going to see
plan.
it no matter what.
You can
I
see-
mean,
You can see the cedar line on the plan, Ted.
yeah.
Is that what you-
It's a pretty thorough line.
How tall it would be. I mean, the building's pretty tall. It seems to me that if folks are just gonna have this big visual view of this large building. And that's, I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that, that it seems to be a fact to me. I don't see how you could plant enough of anything that's gonna screen folks' view from that.
You're not,
Large building. And
and
there's
it's
also-
red.
also no screening, between these buildings and the fire station, right? So we're
Well,
looking at the fire station.
there are trees on the apartment side of the driveway,
Okay.
So this is a mock-up
deciduous.
Mhm.
that I did. This is standing in front of the apartment building. the red structure in the back is the building we're talking about doing. This oak that is this is one of the trees that is currently there, and this is a honey locust here that is there. And I added an oak instead of a honey locust when I was cutting and pasting. I apologize. But this is what the tree line would do. And these are 2-year-old trees that we're talking about at the moment. These are not mature trees. You'll also see this tree right here. This tree, this is one of the trees that you see in the plan in front of the building. The other thing I want to point out is along both sides of Firehouse Drive is parking. You drive over there any given day, there's 2 to 6 cars parked in front of the Firehouse Apartments. Their view is being obstructed by vehicles as much, if not more, than by trees and such. So this was just to show the perspective of it. It looks like very sparse on trees, but this gives a feel of sort of what it would do with those trees in place. So
I for one still think that looks kind of sparse, although I can envision those nice trees there too. There's going to be driveway around that as well. You show grass there, but isn't there a way to get trucks up close and work around it and such?
Yep. So
Weren't they gonna come down? from
that's
the
where
firehouse?
I'm sharing that right now. The site plan here that LaRose drew up for me. Get your perspective on the far right. Says fire station. That's a fire station, the existing parking lot. The left upper corner, that is the structure we're talking about. And this right here is a 20-foot wide gravel driveway coming off from the existing parking lot. It will not be accessing from Firehouse Drive. It'll be accessed from the parking lot of the existing fire station.
Wouldn't that be an opportunity along the eastern side of that drive to do some additional screening, perhaps some cedars or something? Not necessarily a row. I'm not suggesting like a tight row necessarily, but something else.
Well, we're also thinking, John, of the prospect that the new police department building is gonna go
Right here.
south of the fire station. And we don't know exactly how that's gonna go yet, but that's the plan in
Right.
pencil anyway.
Right, that's in the future, and cedars aren't so valuable. You can't move them around for a few years, They're easily dug up and moved around if it's just a couple of years later or whatever. But anyway, I definitely would like to see more screening.
Any other questions from the board?
On the screening,
Or comments, excuse me?
on the screening.
Yeah, well, just on the application, yeah, right, the application as a whole and screening in particular. Yeah, Tom?
No, I don't have anything. I already gave my opinion.
And I'm very comfortable with what's being presented here.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think Chris did an excellent job at articulating what we're trying to accomplish and in maintaining the aesthetically pleasing environment over there. It's just a very clean area. It's very well maintained. Even the 26,000 square foot red building that now sits out back, I find it fits with the very boxy structures that are over there, from the fire station to the firehouse apartments to the manufacturing space.
Are they there?
Hopefully one day a training structure made out of Conex boxes.
Okay.
Yep. I do have a few more questions if it's
Okay.
just on that comment. The new, all due respect, the new apartments and the new industrial buildings over there, light industrial buildings, are highly architected and state-of-the-art light systems, and everything's thought through really down to the nth degree. And I just want to match that carefulness here in the neighborhood. I am concerned for what is now a neighborhood over there, 20 some odd dwellings, I think, new housing. And so I want to revisit a couple things, because I'm not sure my questions are satisfied about the activities there, because it's not just how it looks, it's what's going on. And so I know you describe what makes the smoke. Is it all wood smoke?
Yeah, wood and straw.
Wood and straw. And how is the smoke vented out of there?
The primary vent is the chimney structure. That would be, and when needed, the doors can be opened for a rapid removal of the smoke.
Yep. And how many smoke trainings per year do you think will happen there?
I'll let the chief speak to that.
It's a good question. I'd say on average, 4 to 6. I mean, this is just one small aspect of the services we provide, and again, it's about keeping the interest of current firefighters, trying to recruit the next generation of firefighters, having something available to us on site to train in, as we discussed last time we were here. Acquired structures are kind of a thing of the past. They're just very difficult not only to come by, but there's so many laws in place, so much mitigation work that needs to be done to even utilize the structure. And at the end of the day, there's still a hazardous waste site from my perspective, where a metal structure and burning Class A materials, ordinary wood, straw, to create smoke for, you know, a couple hours, for up to a half a dozen times a year. That's what we're looking to accomplish. And also just, as noted last time we were here, we currently train, not with smoke, but we currently train on that site today in the very large parking lot out back, at nighttime, with lights and high pressure hoses, and literally dumping thousands of gallons out into that back lawn at any given time. So
Does that mean, excuse me, Chief, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. I'm done. Thank you.
Does that mean the trucks are running and the pumps are running and all that, lights and all that at night when you're
Lights
doing
are
that?
going, the pumps are going, and for all intents and purposes, the trucks are screaming.
They're
Yeah, and our regular training nights are 7 to 9 p.m.
Right, and is that just once a week or something?
Couple times a month.
Couple times a month, couple
Yeah.
times a month. So just back to the number of smoke trainings, that would be a total number, not just for your department, but all smoke trainings that you, because I think at the first hearing, you all did mention that, you know, other departments might like to use this facility. I just wonder, would that be additional to the half a dozen a year on average?
Well, perhaps I could just make a suggestion or recommendation, whatever you want to call it. You know, a start would be to permit the Bristol Fire Department to utilize it in this capacity. And, you know, quite frankly, when I say 6 smoke trainings a year, you know, that could be kind of a high number. We will use that structure without smoke. I mean, there's so many things we will do that won't include smoke. But to answer your question, John, regarding other fire departments in the area utilizing it, just like we do today, we share our space with many other entities, whether they're emergency services organizations or other nonprofit organizations from the public. I have no concerns with them utilizing it. However, if we were going to look at other fire departments utilizing it for the smoke purposes, we certainly, you guys could put contingencies on any application that says we could come back and have another conversation if there's going to be an increased use above and beyond what the Bristol Fire Department is doing over there.
Yep. I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing.
Yeah, folks, background, the folks in line are having a hard time hearing. Thank you.
Do you need me to repeat?
So you could imagine us putting some, I don't know, top limit on this per year for how many smoke trainings?
Yeah, certainly, you know, we're here this evening, you know, the second time around, looking for support from you all. And if that is a caveat to help make this happen and get, you know, even just having the boxes over there, even if you all said no smoke, we wouldn't like that, but just the boxes alone, you know, just to have that environment to train in.
Right, and that was my next question, actually. What other kinds of trainings besides smoke training? I mean, you climb on the thing, or ropes or ladders and that kind of thing?
So we would ladder the structure, we would perform search and rescue drills, ventilation. I think Chris did a good job at articulating that last time we were here, a ventilation prop, you know, what it's like to go up on a roof with a ventilation saw and cutting a hole in a roof. You know, and the smoke, like when you join the fire service and you go through your initial training at the fire academy, like what caps off your training is the 1 day in the Vermont Fire Academy's burn building down at the academy in Pittsburgh, where it's literally filled with smoke of Class A, that ordinary wood combustibles and hay materials that we would utilize on our site. But we're really, smoke will be something we would probably do the least of. And we do have an artificial smoke machine over there too that someone donated to us that, you know, we can use from time to time. Just periodically, it'd be really great to have that ability to try to create the most realistic environment possible, as nothing can prepare a firefighter for, you know, what it means to go into a structure that's, you know, generating tremendous amounts of, I'm not going to get into the science of it because it probably won't mean much to anybody. But obviously a wood fire doesn't create that much heat. You go in a house full of plastics and asphalt shingles and linoleum, and I'll just go on and on. You know, it's just, you can't ever recreate that. The only time you get that is the real thing. And we hope to never see it. We still need to.
So is there fire training there where there be, you know, live flame and that sort of thing?
No, it's the goal. It's a wood boiler.
Yeah,
You know, the purpose of it is to push smoke into the structure. You obviously need fire to create the smoke, right? That will be in a controlled outdoor wood boiler, which is actually inside the structure in a special encapsulated area to control that and keep firefighters away from direct contact with that flame.
Right. No, but so the other kinds of trainings would not include some sort of like live fire training or anything like that.
We would absolutely not go against any permit authorization, whatever we call this, that you all were issued to us. We'd be extremely respectful of that.
Yeah. So the drift of my questions basically is I'm just wondering if this is going to become a regional training center of sorts, like, you know, if that's the kind of activity over time you guys imagine, where it's a gathering place for not just your department, but others.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious about sort of what that looks like, the frequency and timing of that sort of thing, because I think, you know, we owe it to the neighbors to ask those questions.
Sure. I think that's a fair question, John. And I think I'll just go back to something I said earlier is, you know, if this board was to consider a use for your fire department, you know, on an X amount of basis, and then should that time come where other fire departments want to use it for the purpose of that smoke training we're discussing, you know, we train mutual aid with our departments, other departments in the area today at our fire station. But to the live smoke scenario, at that time, it would be appropriate to come back to you all and have that conversation. But right today, we're only concerned about training your Bristol firefighters today.
Well, hold on, Ted. We're not doing.
I'll wrap up and just say, Chief, thank you for all your good answers to my questions. I try to keep them short, the questions that is. And I would just say to my fellow board members that I think what I've heard the chief say is some reasonable limit on the number of smoke trainings a year, and some sense of this training Bristol's department as opposed to becoming a center for other places, you know, like a much more busy place. That's kind of where I'd like to go. That is to say that, you know, keep it at home like that and be alert to the use.
Well, I want to remind the board that we're not doing conditional use review here. It's site plan review.
Yep.
Exactly. And I think most of these questions are inappropriate because I don't think we could put this condition on it even if we wanted to.
It's not. 394 tells us where we can condition, and what you're talking about, John, are use conditions.
Exactly.
It's not, well, it's not conditional use, it's site plan.
So it's one thing to talk about landscaping, it's another thing to start to restrict their uses. I think the whole line of questioning is really out of line. I understand your concern, John, but it's not within our jurisdiction.
Okay, fair point. I just did have those questions.
Yep. Anything further you want to add, Chief? Oh, hold on. Any questions from anyone? Anything further you want to add, Chief?
I guess I would just like to say, obviously, I don't understand all your rules and regulations and John's line of questioning, I'm certainly not offended by it. But regardless of whether it's appropriate or not, I can assure you, as long as I'm in a leadership position over there, you know, we will be extremely respectful, not only of our governing body here in Bristol, but of our neighbors, as we have been since the day we moved in there.
Well, that carries a lot of weight with me, chief.
Thank you.
As it does with all of us, but again, it's just not something we're allowed to restrict in a site plan application.
Yeah, I mean, for refresher, this is in the village mixed district. And emergency services from facility is a permitted use for which site plan
It
is
is,
required.
it is, but that definition does say in the building. This is more, this has got 1 foot into like a accessory building sort of, because the definition for emergency use definitely speaks to the uses being in the emergency use building as
A building or part thereof.
well. This is neither.
It is. a
Yeah,
building.
it's a
certainly
building.
A building, isn't it? It's not a part thereof.
It's a building. I don't get your point.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. I'm catching. I understand. Thank you.
All right, Ted, anything? Brenda,
You know, no, you know, because,
Tom,
you know, my question was gonna be,
okay,
it doesn't need to be.
anybody have a motion?
I'll move it.
Make your motion, Tom.
I'll make a motion. We approve the site plan as amended to add the additional landscaping that was testified to tonight.
Any second?
I second.
Ted seconds. Carol, any further discussion by the board?
Yeah, I'd like to amend the motion, please.
Well, that's up to Tom. What's
Well,
your-
no, he's allowed to make an amendment, I think.
Well-
No, I'm not gonna change my motion, but he can amend it if he wants.
Well, what's
I'd
your,
like to make a motion to amend the motion.
what's your proposed
Right,
amendment?
procedure.
Yeah.
I'd just speak to that for a second. I'd like to see some low cedars mixed in there, you know, and somewhere in that plan. I think it would be appropriate. There's ways to do it. There's already cedar rows there. And I think it would add something to the overall plan.
Well, then that's different than Tom's motion. So if we want to take yours up first, if you're moving to amend the plan to require cedars, we can second and vote on that.
Well, I was thinking that I would.
He needed a second to his amendment first,
Yes.
and then we can consider his amendment.
I think I was just kind of thinking like I could go with approval too with that one thing. So I don't know, Tom, maybe could you include that in your motion?
For the reason I explained before, John, I actually don't think the cedars would be that, and I do think there are cedars somewhere around the industrial building. I agree with what the landscape architect apparently told Chris, that visually it'll look quite nice the way it is. And I don't think cedars would look all that good there tucked underneath. And I do not believe it's necessary to screen this entire building. I just don't. I like the aesthetic of it, the way it's been proposed. I'm glad they added more trees. I did think they needed to add more trees. But I don't think it has to be cedars.
So analytically, I think we should table Tom's motion, go to John's, because you're asking for an amendment to the proposed plan. And let's look at that first, see if the board approves that. And if it does not, if it does, we're done. If it doesn't, then we go to Tom's motion. All right, so make your motion, John.
I would move to amend Tom's motion simply by adding the addition of some cedars as well.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask? I mean,
Is that the right way to do it?
in my experience with site plan, you can request that an applicant make changes, but boards don't normally specify require, this isn't a use variance. This is.
No, I know.
We get to ask them to do more, and then you either have to vote for it or against it. I don't think
Well,
we can condition it
you
on
know,
it, on adding landscaping.
I think we probably can here, Tom, because under 394, we can, I'm looking at it, I'm trying to be not so formalistic, but we can impose conditions on landscaping. And I'm viewing John's proposal as a condition on to add additional evergreens.
Okay, then I think he has to be highly specific then what exact species, how, how they would be placed, how many, all, in other words, a site plan is a site plan. So we have to,
Yeah.
somebody has to.
The burden is on the applicant, is it not? For that sort of specificity?
Well, yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, well, no, John, the applicant's met the burden. He submitted a plan. You're trying to.
Right, you're the one who's
changed.
taking. I don't think boards can do this.
I'm not gonna choose the trees for them. Besides, I heard concern that was shared by several members of the board.
Okay,
About
but
maybe
but-
cedars would be good. I happen to agree with that position. And so I'm just trying to say, let's prove it. Let's have some cedars too. What's the big deal?
because Tom's point is a good one by just saying, hey, throw some cedars in there. We're not telling the applicant, we're not providing enough guidance. So if you have at least an area that you could describe where you would like to see a line of cedars, that would suffice.
Well, I don't want to scoop I think it would be cedars would be a nice addition. And we are able to impose conditions, are we not?
Yes, on landscaping.
Right. So
But in all due respect, I do not believe that we impose conditions from the board. What you can do is say, I'm not in favor, I will vote against this if they're not added. And then the applicant gets to decide what it wants to do with this application. I think that's the proper procedure. I don't know how we can't design based on one board member saying he wants more cedars.
Well, he doesn't even have a second yet, Tom. So let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay.
And we've got a full slate here tonight, so I don't want to we can get to the same place. There's lots of ways to skin the cat. So John's made his motion for additional cedars as specific as he's able to make it. Is there a second to John's motion?
I'll second it.
Move the question. Let's vote.
All right, all those in favor of the proposed amendment to add a condition to require the addition of cedars for additional screening, all those in favor? Brenda and John, motion does not carry. Well, wait, all those opposed? Okay, motion does not carry.
So Carol, for the record, that was Kevin, Tom, and I got Ted. I should have blank. It's been one of those nights already. I apologize, Ted.
Yeah, none of us have had dinner, so, all right.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay. Well, Tommy, can you renew your motion that was tabled, please, so it's in front of.
I moved that we approve the site plan as amended this evening by the additional trees added to the landscape plan that was presented by the applicant this evening.
Good, okay. Second is Ted has seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of Tom's motion, raise your hand. Aye. Brenda.
Aye.
Brenda, Tom, me, Ted. Okay, all those opposed? John opposed, so Carol, 4-1, motion passes. Okay, so we'll get a written decision for Sunday soon.
Thank you all very much.
That's actually good, right?
No, thank you for your time and your consideration. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you, Chief. Keep us safe. Thanks for doing what you do.
Every day.
Yes.
all right.
I'm glad I don't have to run into a burning building.
Sketch plan?
Yep, this is sketch plan.
How many lots?
7 new lots.
Plank.
Plank Road.
Yeah.
Joy Drive.
North Street.
North Street's where it
Where's
is.
Joy Drive?
Joy Drive is.
Okay, so North Street's so over here. little
Yeah,
bit.
it's a
Not
long
too
ways
far.
out.
Oh, long ways?
Yeah, I can pull it up on a secondary
So,
map.
so is it Plank? It's between Plank and Verpi?
Yeah, it's about a third of
Yeah.
the way down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the next item of business is permit number 23-402. Francis and Diane Heffernan at Plank Road, parcel number 060124-1 for a sketch plan review for a 7-lot subdivision per the Bristol Unified Development Regulations, Article 9, Section 920. Who's here for the applicant? Want to talk?
Diane and.
And who drew this? Kevin Brown.
Um,
Okay, Diane, we
I'll
have,
purchase this one for $5.
Oh, I don't know. I'll get the bill.
Diane, you want to just walk us through briefly? It's pretty self-explanatory.
I
No,
think-
hold on, I gotta, you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give before this development review board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. So, we've got a proposed 7-lot subdivision.
In a 4-lot, a 4-acre area.
Okay. And what district are we, Chris?
This particular one,
Two different.
yeah, it's
Oh, really?
predominantly.
Why'd you go and do that?
And it potentially,
Hey,
Planning commission.
this is predominantly in village as the, yeah. Or HDR. I have to look. Let me pull it up.
It's one of them.
Let me pull it up. I can show you exactly.
So Joy Drive goes all the way down to Plank Road?
it does.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I see it there. J Drive. J Drive or Joy?
J Drive.
J Drive, yeah, okay.
So,
It's off Plank Road.
yeah.
Right.
So as we, I'm just gonna, I need to share this out for, whoops. Stupid thing. Yeah.
Take
no,
your time, Chris. We're good.
Let me go back to here. Let me share this. Okay, so here's the zoning map of the town, as it stands today.
Yeah, I see Plank.
And here's North Street, just to get our bearings. This is the intersection in North and Plank. J Drive is here. The the area we're talking about is right here.
So how big is that lot?
The entire parent
No, it's
parcel
not where you're circling. It's closer to the line, close to the drive.
here.
Yeah, really close to the drive. It's 50 acres that.
Right, you have, this map doesn't include the parcels of the Denekers.
Okay.
So that's about here when you look at those lots, the Deneker. So
No, they're to the left of that.
I can bring you up another map that actually shows those,
Okay,
the,
never mind.
no, I, this is John and Dottie's house is. I'm gonna find my mouse again here. Is like right here.
But wouldn't that be set up as a different parcel on that map?
It is.
This parcel in on the map.
Yeah, I know, I see that, but not there.
When this zoning map, which is the one that we have on file that we use today,
Mhm.
those parcels were not included on the map. I do not know why. It's the map that we
Okay.
work with.
Well, that makes our confusion
Even better.
understandable. Well, I
Absolutely.
mean, but that's why we're having trouble
Yeah,
finding it on, so maybe John and Dottie Flowers is that little, right where that little jog is.
yeah, here, actually, what, if I minimize. Let's go back to the original
All
map.
right, so anyway, we've got, it looks like we've got 1.1 acre parcel, then 6 half-acre parcels,
Right.
which will bring us to 4.1 acres. Which leaves a balance, and that's, so where's I'm trying to find out where the you go back to that property
Yep.
map? I'm trying to figure out where the boundary line maybe is.
Let me
for
show
the
you.
District.
Give me 2 seconds so I can pull the better map for you.
So was that color the
It's light blue. It's
DR?
it's village residential. It's
Okay,
where those are going at the moment.
23 is VR.
If the zoning changes, I don't think it's okay.
This is the subdivision off the bigger lot, right? Right, Diane?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes, I thought so, okay. And the lot continues off to the
The north of-
west, north, I guess.
And east of J Drive.
So if you look at this, the main parcel that we're talking about, it's gonna open this up. Is this big blue one that I just highlighted?
Yeah,
Again, back to our the line that is J Drive is here. The HDR splits this parcel about in half. It's about here when I look at the
Oh, you have another man.
I got more maps.
it's HDR and village residential?
It's two. If one, the front ones, I think are 1/4 acre lots and the back ones are 1/2 acre lots.
Yeah, a little bit, 10,000 square foot for HDR.
It's the
And also 10,000
close.
square foot for village residential, so the minimum lot size does not change.
Doesn't change, so it doesn't make a difference.
So is Joy Drive a town highway or is it private road?
Private,
Okay,
it's J Drive.
Jay, well, I
Maybe
said
it's
Joy
short,
first.
But it's J.
Yeah, I said Joy first, so I'll never be able to stop saying Joy, I can promise. All right, so. Okay, so this is,
I'm trying to get back to it. Oops, wrong map.
all right, so Carol, I don't know if you got that, it's village residential, it's in both the village residential and the high density residential district, so that's VR and HDR. The minimum lot size in both districts is the same, which is 10,000 square feet. That's a little bit less than a 1/4 acre. So these lots are all of sufficient size. There's road access, private road access to Plank Road. So are the driveways you thinking for lots 5 and 6, are they gonna come off of Joy Drive?
So,
Yeah,
all the
So-
entrances will be off of J Drive rather than Pine Road.
yeah, okay,
That's what the 2 dashed lines are that you have. Those are right of ways being depicted.
yeah.
Chris, can I ask a question? Is it, I know it's typically done, but is it a requirement of a subdivision ordinance that they show the building envelopes?
I thought this is just the sketch.
Yeah, this is sketch. We just need to get clarification. When they come in for preliminary, they'll have those details.
Okay, this is just sketch plat. Okay, yeah, it's just helpful to see it. And when they, eventually they could add the zone line too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
so is it town water out there?
Yes, it is.
And, okay, so on-site septic and town water? Okay,
By the way, I can't always hear Mrs. Heffernan.
Oh,
let's say that again, Brenda?
she can't always hear when.
I can't always hear you. Maybe if you sat at the table closer to the microphone or,
So it's I asked if it was town water and she said yes, so town. so
okay. Good.
Water on-site
I'm not
septic.
sure exactly how far the circle for town water goes. Well, I know it includes probably the front 4, definitely. I'm not sure that it goes
So you may have wells on the back
either that or
And-
apparatus for town.
and,
water.
and on 5 or 6, so. Okay, well, that'll have to be addressed in the subdivision plan. So the,
We'll have to know ahead of time.
Yeah, because the wastewater and potable water will be designed by then.
Right.
And that's when you'll know what the water sources are at that
Okay,
point in time.
so, okay.
yeah, so for today, this is sketch plan review, and we really only have one role, other than to ask preliminary questions, so we get the lay of the land. Our only objective for tonight is to determine whether it's a minor subdivision For a major subdivision, the difference being they have at least 2 hearings for a major. And it has 7 lots, so that's by definition a major, so. We're gonna schedule, if we can, do you have a sense of when? You'll be ready with it, so there'll have to be 2. There'll have to be a preliminary subdivision hearing and then a final.
So the preliminary one, you want the housing, where the house. lot
The
is
building
gonna be
envelope,
and
the building
septic
envelopes,
and
and,
all that stuff.
right, and,
Yeah.
and. The septic system,
Right,
the
circles,
septic
all the
situation
stuff
will
on there. Okay,
have an impact on where you can site things.
right.
So water and sewer and building envelopes and, and we'll see the preliminary plan, and if we have any additions or deletions or suggestions for the final, we'll let Ron, or whoever comes in with you on that one know.
Are you anticipating that all of these lots will have their own septic, or is there gonna be a
Yes.
community?
No,
septic?
we'll have their own.
Is that land perkable or?
It's,
what-
well,
amount of
it's a
systems?
perk test on these, we have, for some reason, they didn't do it on this one, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, but I know that they did them on all of these and they had, I think in-ground septics.
Well, Ron certainly knows too, that he needs to get those things on the site
Yeah,
plan, so he
I know,
will.
And you know, I've been working on this since, I don't know, June, July. sometime, and-
What's the rush?
Well, it's a young couple that
No,
wants one of
that was
those
a joke.
lots and they're living with
No, I get
in-laws
it.
now, so maybe there is a.
Yeah, maybe there is. Okay, any other questions for Diane?
No, looks good.
Okay, so, are you gonna,
December 12th is the next meeting.
well,
that we-
only if they're ready.
Right, if they would be ready with.
I mean, we don't
They'll
have
be
to
ready.
schedule it today.
Okay, well, I will.
Yeah, follow up with me this week. I need, just let me know by the end of the week if
Okay.
Ron can have everything for me. December 12th. So let me know in advance.
Check with Ron.
Thank you. We will. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
All right,
Very nice.
let's see, next item. New business is permit number 23-400.
Yeah, it's this.
DBM Properties located at North 116 Road, parcel number 03111, requesting preliminary plat approval for 5-lot subdivision for the Bristol Unified Development Regulations Article 9, section 930. All right, so who's here for the applicant?
Jason Barnard, Jarvis.
How you doing, Jason?
Good, how are you?
All right, you raise your right hand, repeat after me. You solemnly swear the evidence you shall give before this development review board should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I did.
All right, so we
Which
saw this
map?
on a sketch plan some time ago, right?
I did,
Yeah.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
We gotta find it.
Which
So
map do you want?
between,
Yeah, this is the one that had the, right,
had the extra, and
Yeah.
actually, we,
Just
as
cut it
per
off.
advice of the board, we removed that line that was between,
it would be a
and
planned unit, right?
the PUD 16-acre parcel was gonna be lot 4. We extended the boundaries of lot 4 to make it just over 16.1.
Jason, just so you get up to there, which plan do you want to share with the
Let's go with the
S1?
PL1 and then the S.
Oops, no, because I got PL2. I've got a little trigger
Yeah.
happening.
PL1 and then S2, you probably need more.
Okay, here, let me get this too. Okay, so you want to start with PL1?
Sure.
Okay, let me share that with the real world. Okay,
So if, as Kevin was describing when he opened the hearing, when we talked at sketch plan, we actually had a line between the area, so lot 4 was essentially a smaller parcel. At the advice of the board to conform with 5 acres density in this area, we did increase the size of lot 4 to 16.1 acres. Lots 1, 2, and 3 range in size from 1 acre to 1.5 acres, and the balance of the density is made up with lot 4. There is a right of way that is along the northern boundary that would also be used to access portions of lot 4 for walking trails. It's obviously densely wooded. It's a marsh. It's swampy back there, but there is some areas you can walk, recreate. I think that was the thing that we discussed that
Yeah.
the most last time.
Maybe boardwalk or something like
We'd
that.
have to do
Yeah.
either some elevated walkways or something. They'd have to find areas that could be developed for walkways. There wouldn't be any development back there. Given the nature of that, it's a class 2 wetland.
So I'm gonna just mark up my sketch plan because that's what I've got in front of me. So lot 5 is gone, lot 4 is bigger,
Correct.
and now the total acreage for lot 4 is what,
16.11.
16.11 acres. And the lots 1, 2, and 3 would have easement access
To lot
to
the balance of lot 4.
to the balance of lot 4, so the area, so they would be crossing lot 4 to get.
So how, for example, would lot 2 have access to lot 4?
There'd be, okay, so basically we're going to amend the site plan because there's one thing we need to discuss. We're waiting on a V-Trans permit for the access. If you look at the easement for the existing road, we're gonna actually extend that down to the O'Connor property.
Where's that?
It's right at the end.
Oh,
Right.
okay. So
Yeah,
you'd be
okay.
extending the driveway?
Yeah, we'd actually, not the driveway, but the 50-foot access, and you actually.
Oh, I
have-
see it.
You have an outdated.
Yeah,
I
I
know,
know,
that's
no,
what-
I had the sketch plan. so-
Yeah.
Which is,
I can actually
well,
give you-
Chris will fish it out.
I don't know if I am going to.
Okay,
That's what I've got in my hand.
Chris is not gonna fish it out for me.
So I just
No,
copy that.
It's just
Yeah.
that way,
So to provide that, you'll see the access, it moved down a little bit.
yeah,
We're gonna actually extend this 50-foot right of way and then up the northern. Section of lot 4 to give that lot 2 access. We have to do that to satisfy the V-Trans permit. Because there's another access to the north, they don't wanna have 2 driveways coming off that parcel. So this plan will be amended to final.
No, so the road that you're showing for the 4 little smaller lots or subdivided lots, that would be there, but there would also be access up along. No,
Nope.
okay, so I guess I don't know how.
extend the existing road westerly,
It's gonna extend the existing.
Oh, okay, got it. Yep.
way to the west,
Right.
And then continue.
And then connect it back there. Okay,
Correct.
okay, I get it.
We've,
and is it to provide access to the lot immediately to the west as well?
it is.
Okay.
Yep, that is a stipulation by
V-Trans,
V-Trans
yeah.
for the access permit because they don't want to.
Yep.
Accesses on this lot that'll be within 500 feet of each other.
Right, and so then
Nope.
you're gonna.
So there's gonna be easement. Is there gonna be an actual road or trail or something?
Just a deeded easement for right now.
Just a, okay,
easement,
and then it would also bend and go north around the backside of lot.
Right, yeah, so that there'd be,
Connecting.
and that can be a. That can be just a place for ingress by ingress and egress by foot or.
That'd be a 20-foot easement.
Yeah, or something like that, and if you.
well, honestly, to be meaningful, it has to be more than an easement. It has to be a cleared something. Yeah. I mean, just an ability to walk through the woods. It's not
Yeah,
good.
is it,
It's good, but it's not great.
what's the
you need-
west, what's the west
It's
side of,
wooded. It's on the edge. You could do it either along the edge of the meadow or you could do it up through the woods. You just have to have a clear path.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a good point, Tom, so there'd be a path, to which.
Would access.
Within a 20-foot or so, right?
Within
away.
the easement, yeah.
It but that would that's not for cars, it's
Not for
gonna
cars.
be
No.
just for,
Foot traffic.
yeah, well, you want to specify if you're gonna not have motor vehicles like if you want snowmobiles and ATVs to go, you need to, we don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care.
That'd be written in the-
Anyway, you just want to make, I'm saying that for that access back to that bigger 16 acres, if
If
it.
I was one of the people buying the lots, I might care, but yeah, but that's, yeah.
Well, it's a nature area, so it's something to
Yeah.
consider. All I'm saying is, we wanted all 4 lots to be able to enjoy that back 16 acres. And they
Mhm.
the other lots need an easement to get back there. And it's up to you to think about if that's just by foot. Or if you are intending to allow it to be for off-road, motorized off-road things as well, you should specify.
Okay.
And I'm not suggesting one way or the other, but that's an important,
You know,
people forget that sometimes, and because as a lawyer who deals with land disputes, it's a frequent source of.
Oh, yeah. If one
Really
person sees that
frustration.
easement is just for walking and the other one sees it for ATVs, that can make for a pretty good dispute.
That's right.
And I think last time we talked about it was just meant to be walking.
Yeah, we
paths.
were talking about conservation, so anyway,
So we can certainly.
I
do that.
point that out as something to consider.
I agree with the chairman. It doesn't make any difference to me whether it's one or the other, although I do think it needs to be a trail of some kind, some basic cleared trail. It doesn't have to have any surface on it or anything, but you know.
Right, they don't have to,
Yeah.
they don't need to bushwhack through brambles.
Who's
Right,
gonna-
exactly.
It's gonna be, it'll be an
Lot
easement,
4.
it'll be part of lot 4. It'll still be. part of
Lot 4, but lots 1, 2, and 3 will have an easement
They'll have
over
an
lot 4 to along the
Okay.
westerly lot there, whatever it is, Connor, did you say?
O'Connor, yeah,
O'Connor lot, and to get up into that back 16 acre area.
You have a question from the public, I don't know if you're ready for
Okay,
this.
well, any other questions for the board, for Jason from the board? Can't see Brenda or John, so
Yes, I do.
go ahead.
So the deviation you're seeking as a PUD, is it still the lot size requirement?
that's correct. It's a 2 acre minimum in that zone with a 5 acre density, and the 3 lots that we're proposing are less than 2 acres. There's 4 lots, one of them meets the requirement, the other 3 are less than the 2 acres.
Right, PUD's supposed to be land to be developed as a single entity, and this is a question for the chairman. Does this meet that definition? Does this meet this requirement?
Single entity, it's as a integrated plan. I mean, they're sharing access,
Common.
and there's common, so there's common land there.
Yeah,
So-
and okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think yes is the answer to your question.
And it's a 4 lot PUD we're looking at here?
Right, with the large 16 acre portion of lot 4 being basically common land.
That big, it's sort of that big shape there, yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean then that's it? Like there's no more development on that back large part of lot 4?
That's right.
Right.
So,
That's got a question.
the lot, the folks owning lot 4 and having a house on lot 4, are they gonna pay, are they gonna be the sole taxpayers on this bigger parcel that everybody else has access to?
Well,
Would.
yeah.
They would.
Yeah, they would.
I mean,
Doesn't sound quite fair to me.
No, it's,
well, no. They'll buy,
Well,
they'll with
But
their
it's their
eyes-
property. The other people, I mean, they could actually, well, it depends on the easement, but I assume they could build a second structure even on it if they wanted to. they-
No,
Not a principal structure, but an accessory building or something, a little, they could do some stuff with it if they wanted to.
well,
It's
it's,
wetland.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
there's an awful lot of wetland back there and,
Yeah.
and, right, so it's gonna be essentially,
I'm just trying to make them feel better about paying all those taxes. Well, they could also argue that it's
how,
not very valuable and therefore they shouldn't pay any taxes on it. That would be the other way to go.
how much value it as a taxable lot is, I
gonna
expect
be
going to be
negligible.
small. The principal, it says.
That might be the
value
better argument.
is from the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dirt here is where all the value
And-
is.
And when you've got, another 16 acres of unbuildable wetland, I don't think it's gonna be
Yeah.
a big tax burden, but that, whoever buys it,
Convince me.
decide whether they want it with whatever that means for taxes or not. Any other questions? Brenda, I can't see you, so holler if you got one.
No questions.
Okay, somebody back here. Who are you?
Here, Chris Shaner.
What's your last name?
Shaner.
Or where in Derry? Do you live near here?
No, I don't. My
Okay.
girlfriend does. She's on lot 25A and 25B.
25A and 25B, and who's the property? Leah Orbis. Leah Orbis, where are you? Show me again. 25.
Do we know where it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
One's across the
it's
road and one's to the
it's
north.
immediately to the north and then across from that road.
Forest, when we go in there.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so
Alright.
it's this lot here, right, Jason?
Correct. And then
And then
across
there's,
the road.
then Leah's
Yeah.
properties across the road. Okay, just
So
making sure.
so the same person owns those two lots on both sides of the road? Okay. And did you get her name, Carol?
I've got it for, on the sign in for her.
Okay. All right, so you're an adjoining owner, so what's your question?
My question is, you're gonna put a pathway in on the backside up behind Leah's and in front of 4. How wide is that gonna be?
The path for a walking path, I'd say 4 to 6 feet.
How far are you gonna be away from the waters?
With a
Zoning's
walking,
got a borderline,
For
at
the
least we do in Brandon.
no, with a walking path.
Yeah, quarter path.
Well,
What are you talking about,
you know it and
setbacks?
I know it, it's walking path now, well, it's not gonna be a walking path.
Well, yeah, it is.
Well, okay,
I mean,
but
I'm not, I want to zero in on your concern. Are you talking about setback concerns?
where they're putting it in
Yeah.
and what's gonna happen down the road with her.
Well,
Once they get in there, they say nothing's gonna happen. We all know the world changes. Wetlands can be changed into housing.
No,
Yes, they can.
not really. Not easily.
We've actually been out there with the state wetlands apologists. There's
Yeah.
no, there's no getting around. it.
This proposal is for that lot to not be subdivided.
Okay. That's a concern, and the other concern we have,
But wait, my point, what I was trying to clear is.
She should feel pretty good about this proposal. This is no kind of development proposed back there.
Yeah, so the, something like a path, when you're putting up bark chips or whatever, even if it's a sidewalk or something. That would not be subject to setback requirements like a garage or something that would have to be a certain number of feet off the property line depending on the zone. And actually in a planned development like this, we can adjust setbacks, but so what's being proposed and will be shown on the final plat is a path, but that's, whether, even if that hugged the line, that would be okay with the setbacks. It's only for buildings, structures. Any other questions?
not until you gotta go up a little bit further on the map. On the top of 25D,
Which one's that?
the wastewater.
Oh, you're on the wastewater maps. That's where I'm confused.
I know, I said,
We'll switch.
probably have to wait for a while.
No.
No,
Anyway,
but
Kevin has it.
So I'm gonna give it back to you.
which one is it?
So is
That's
this
two.
S2? Do you have the wastewater permit yet? Or
Yep,
is it pending?
we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Thanks.
Go ahead. What's your question?
the question is, if they got all this property, they can move that down to the south, keep it off her property,
Move what?
so the wastewater. Cause they were the ones that are gonna be putting it up there, not nobody else,
Mo-
The wastewater is actually on this property.
Yeah,
on your property.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't want it on her property.
It's not.
grow it.
It's not.
I mean, it couldn't be without your permission. That can't be done.
It's right here. It's got the
It's-
bumper on it, right in green.
The isolation shield
Talking
is
about the
there.
isolation distance.
Right, we said move it to the south a little bit, then you'll be on your own property. She has no problem with the buildings. She just don't want to degrade her property. And if she decides to sell it later on, she can. There ain't gonna be no restrictions.
There's not any restrictions with that.
No,
What's on
She doesn't own
what's on the
nothing.
property west of the
Nothing.
highway now?
no,
It's all metal?
Yes.
Okay, and how big is it?
I don't know exactly, I think it's 3 acres.
3 acres, okay. And so can you just show us the isolation distance?
So it's on S2.
Right,
The
right,
S1, you can see it, but you have to zoom in.
Let me pull that up. So does it show her property?
It does.
Okay, let's pull that one
Yeah.
out.
The S1, it's gonna be a,
I
it's gonna
know.
be, you have to zoom in.
Yep.
So it skirts that. You see where the 280,
It's 50 feet or something like that.
It's the
yeah,
green
see,
one?
it's actually less than 50 feet, Tom. The right of way itself is 50 feet. It's
Mhm.
probably over 35 onto
Look,
that.
I'm just scaling based on the right of way being 50. It looks to me to be about the same distance, maybe a little less.
Little
40.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 or so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's you don't need to be concerned. It's really not close to your property.
No.
Really not a problem.
Well-
Wastewater permit was issued.
yeah, I mean, we've got and we'll make a copy, we'll certainly be referring to this, but Carol, Jason has given me a copy of wastewater system and potable water supply permit issued by the Department of Environmental Conservation, dated October 30th, 2023. And it's permit number WW-9-3252. And so that's where the isolation distance comes from.
Correct.
Okay.
And we also have the stormwater plan
Oh, okay.
developed as well. And I think I sent.
Yeah,
I don't know who is best to answer this, but let's just say that neighbor wanted to or needed to dig a new septic system and they have the same kind of map drawn and it has the green line around it. If those two green zones overlap, is that an issue for the neighbor?
It's not, John.
No, it would be if it's a well, but not greens.
Correct, that's correct, Tom. If it's a well, it would, but they can put a septic system or a house that doesn't prohibit them from developing.
yeah, but usually you crawl ahead and not to the bottom.
Right. But,
So if we wanted to put a well up there, we're restricted.
We're
Right on the line, but yeah.
You know, honestly, that's where your wastewater soils are. If you're gonna put a well on this property, it's probably gonna
But
be.
there's no wastewater right there now.
yeah, we get that, but the wastewater permit's been issued.
Yeah, but how come that they didn't have a meeting with the people here before they took and just okayed it?
Because the state of Vermont issues the wastewater permit, not us.
Right, I know, but one state of Vermont have somebody here,
No, we actually sent a notification
Yeah,
by
you get-
certified mail.
You get a
they
notice.
didn't even get a
I
certified.
didn't get nothing. I didn't get a notice of this.
We got it through the Addison Independent.
I got it from the Addison Independent, I saw the little
This was
brochure.
never sent to us,
The, the site plan? with the-
Nothing,
nothing,
all we got was these drawings, and these are the old ones.
and these are old.
No, that was actually the drawings that were sent for
These came September 1st.
yep, that was a notification for the wastewater permit.
But there was no meeting.
No.
We
There's
asked
not,
Chris tonight, asked
there's
him,
not a meeting. with that.
The state wouldn't have had a meeting.
It's not a
There'll be a question
you
period.
guys didn't send anything certified either.
We
I
did.
know you didn't.
I don't have the list.
I can email it over to you.
I don't know.
We went to
But
the
they
post
wouldn't-
office.
They wouldn't have issued the, it's requirement of the filing for the permit to send something certified.
The
mail
wastewater?
For the notifications.
Yeah, but for wastewater?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So-
they won't issue the permit without that, so I'm sure I have those on file. I'll just
Alright.
send them to you.
Well,
Please.
Because I thought nothing came to me whatsoever, I don't have a computer, so I have to go hard name.
Yeah, we're required to do it certified mail, and I know that.
If you didn't get it and,
We would,
Jason says you're supposed to,
you
can-
wouldn't have, they wouldn't have.
you would-
permit.
You would, well, right, but you would take, that would, who issued it?
Well, we went to the post office this morning,
And then all
Angela,
certified
there
letters
was no
there.
certified letters anywhere.
well, it would have been a while ago.
Right,
Yeah,
even
nothing.
that, nothing. I had
Anyway,
nothing
so-
come in the mail for notice.
Well, do you have can you make them a copy of this?
Absolutely.
So what we'll do is, make a copy of this, and if there's you can get in contact with, who signed this?
Angela McGuire.
That's not the sign it.
Oh, Terry Shearer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can,
we can talk with
you
Terry.
could, yeah, you can chat with them and they would know what certified mail, what notices they had, so anyway, it's, sorry, I'm waving it around. I Yeah, I know.
No, I don't.
Actually, I do have them. There you go.
Well, what,
I've got the certified mail.
right, but we're not the DEC, so either,
Works for me.
but if you have a copy, you can have Chris make a copy, you can give it to this lady and, okay. Hey, Chris?
Who's in the upper right corner? They wouldn't issue the permit.
No, I know. It used to be, that there wasn't really a mechanism.
No.
You know, and we actually, the case that my office had, the case that kind of pushed the Hignite. And, because before it could just happen and you'd have
You
no,
wouldn't know.
you'd have, right,
Yeah, you
right,
wouldn't
and so
know.
it's kind of a first, and
And
if
with
it's a
all
real
first
tiny,
come, first
if
served,
it's a tiny lot, it could really,
and then- exactly.
well, and so when you had these pre-existing lots like down around the lakes, like
Done with.
Bombazine and Dunmore, it was a real problem. That's where the Hibnite case came out of, but something on Bombazine.
And how did that turn out?
You know, it was so involved and it went up a couple of times. I can't remember, but the result of it was that the state incorporated some notice provision in the rule.
In the rights, yeah.
There's no prohibition, but
No.
at least some notice. So you can show up and say, hey, no, make a move.
Yeah.
All right, do you folks have any other questions? Ma'am,
I'm sorry.
do you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you, Chris. Okay,
Chris does.
thanks, Steve.
the thing, that this is gonna go through like this is, I'll get hold of the state tomorrow. And, if they want to take it, be fine, that her property will be lowered by any way. And I mean, the backside, the front, that whole side, then she won't care. But if she wants to sell it, and then there's a problem afterwards, I want these people reliable.
Well,
I don't think you're gonna be able to get them to give you that. I mean, I think I think it is, I don't think it's diminished, but I don't think the state's gonna give you that in writing. It just doesn't work that way.
yeah, I mean.
Well, we didn't get no certified letter either, and I know that is a part of the requirements, that's a certified letter.
Well,
Because I am an owner and I got 15 acres.
they've got the receipt, so I guess take it up with the folks at the state. You've got the permit, so you know the permit number.
Well, we're gonna call it state tomorrow anyway, but if that's what you want, if you can do. Or it ain't gonna take in ball per property being a lower rate now, because they're putting in that stuff over there.
What do you mean a lower rate?
It's no different than putting a trailer in over next door. It's gonna lower the property value. You're putting the houses in there.
Well, if the net town does its reappraisal and you don't like your assessment on your land. We don't, sir, we don't evaluate effects on property value. I'm trying to be polite, it's outside our jurisdiction. So if you think this actually has an impact on property value and how you're assessed or how she's assessed when the time.
I'm saying by putting the wastewater down there that got put through, I don't know how. Cause like I said, she didn't get no permit, so it shouldn't have been okayed until she did get her signature on there.
The law doesn't require her approval. The law requires
Why
her
would
to
you
give
do a
notice,
certified letter?
to give notice that this is what's happening. You don't have to necessarily consent. It's because it used to be that it was first come, first served, and people didn't have any, even had any notice even, so.
I used to know a lot of people in Brandon that did the same thing, but they were on the zoning board.
Well,
All I know, that's all I can have to say. I know you guys are gonna push it through as fast as you can,
no.
but I think it's wrong.
Well, that's not fair. We're not pushing it through as fast as we can. We're gonna have a second meeting, and we don't have jurisdiction over some wastewater permits.
And we probably won't get a permit on the, or not permit, but a notice on that either.
Do you know when the next meeting is going to be by chance?
I don't, it depends when, how much is required.
We're fairly well wrapped up. Maybe we get it in by the end of the year.
Okay, so you'll get,
Probably January sometime.
you'll get advance notice.
Okay, cause I didn't before, so that's why I wanna make
No,
sure I notice.
you should get, well, of this particular hearing.
Correct. I received nothing, only I saw it in a little Addison Independent,
All right,
little tiny, I even called Chris on that.
Yeah,
let's make
I
sure.
called him and asked him, I said, what's this, you told me that I see something in the
you,
mail.
you should see something in the mail.
Let's just,
Nothing,
let's just
Okay.
double check your mailing address.
yeah. Cause Chris did that too.
What is it? I'll take it right now, just like.
806 North 116 Road,
Oh, 416.
Bristol, Vermont. 05443, because I received the blueprints, okay, and it's the same address that was on the blueprint paper.
The sketch plan, me?
Yeah. So, like I said, I saw nothing. I went to the post office today to see if there's a certified letter waiting for me. Nothing. I only saw was a little thing on the Addison Independent bottom corner, and I even contacted Chris about that.
Or at least
And
a
he said,
certificate of
"Don't worry,
mailing.
You'll see a notice about it. You'll get a letter in the mail."
Yeah.
Send it
And
to
I waited and never saw nothing.
you. Okay, well,
So
there are.
that's why I'm concerned that I won't be notified.
No, that's understandable, then, and
She's on the mailing list.
the, yeah, but postal delivery has been poor around Vermont.
Yes.
Especially since the floods. So I don't have an explanation for that, but you are entitled to notice, and
So how will I know? Because if I don't get notified, I mean, I didn't get
Well,
up for this one, how could it be?
So one of the things
the
too,
next-
Leah, the fact you're at this hearing is, and you are a neighbor, you've got notes here, I mean, she would be considered interested party, and I
Yep.
have to notify her, the town has to notify as well, right? Any communications?
she's definitely an interested person, so why don't we,
We've got her mailing address,
yeah, so what? don't you-
3806.
Why don't you
Yes.
just for protection's sake, why don't you make it certified mail return receipt requested?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll have that, and just in case. That doesn't help you if the mailman doesn't get it to you.
Did anybody call?
So Chris, can you let her know when we get the hearing?
I will, I will call, when I schedule the hearing, Leah, I will call you. That way we will have a voice communication.
Please.
And that's well prior to the hearing, because when I warn it, it has to be minimum 15 days in advance publication. So it's usually about 20,
3 weeks or so.
yeah,
Did you-
25.
Did you get the certified mailing?
All I got was the paperwork from your office.
So that's
Which
gonna
is not-
certify.
That's
That's
the
it,
sketch-
but I-
That's it.
But
that's the
but I
sketch-
never got a
No,
notice
that-
about the meeting tonight,
That was the notification.
but there was nothing in it saying about that.
Okay.
No,
What was it?
That's September.
Oh, so
that's the
No,
one.
that's the wastewater one.
That's the wastewater.
You guys are supposed to do, you guys are responsible. Do you want to fall on your sword?
This is all I got with the 2 drawings.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it was returned.
I never wrote that on there.
Yeah.
That, somebody else wrote that on me, when it came to my mail.
That's ours. That's ours.
Okay, so
We sent that.
anyway.
Yep. We will,
So going forward. Chris is gonna let you know.
Okay.
You don't have a computer, but you don't have email?
Nope.
So-
no, that's why,
Okay,
that's why I'll reach out to her. I have her contact info.
Do we,
Well,
do
do
we
you-
wanna,
Oh, actually, so it's not on the public, I'll just have you write it down there.
do we wanna extend the, do we wanna, So are we required to notify or is the town required?
No, you still wanna do it, we'll double check you.
Okay,
And just.
I just want to broadcast
just-
so,
What is?
Do certified mail, but you receive a question, you're gonna have.
No.
so this could
or-
be, this could be on us because
Wait, wait, wait.
hold on a second. Chris, we didn't notify. I thought you were gonna notify.
the applicant is required.
Okay, so then that's on us
Okay,
to do that.
all right.
So should we continue this hearing and I send out?
No, because she was here.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just concerned.
But going forward, now we know.
Understandably so.
Okay,
So.
and I just wanna confirm the address.
Thank you.
Leah,
Yes,
I just wanna confirm the address. I have 3806 North 116 Road, Bristol, Vermont, 05443.
that is correct.
Okay,
Yep, that's where we get the drawings from, and then, like I said, I contacted Chris twice.
Yep.
To find out when this is gonna be, and he said, don't worry, you'll be notified in the mail, everything's great.
okay,
And I
Now we know.
so that's.
That was good thing you saw it in the paper,
That was the way I worked
Yeah.
on it.
and you were here, so, for the next round, you'll
have-
get.
So who will notify me for the next one?
we will.
The applicant will.
And Chris is gonna double.
I'm gonna physically call you when I warn it.
Okay, not just a day night out, so that I'll
No.
go ahead of time, I was like, 8
No.
meetings tonight.
Oh, no, when I write the warning, Leah, which is usually about 3 weeks prior.
And just for the record. I've designed hundreds and hundreds of wastewater systems. This wastewater shield overlapping on your property is very common. If you wanted to develop your property, your wastewater shield would overlap on this one. And like Tom did mention in the meeting, if you have a septic system that's just north of your property line and these two wastewater shields overlap, that's totally acceptable. Okay, this is not going to prohibit you from developing your property. Or it's not going to, in my opinion, diminish the value of your property. If there are 4 nights homes that proposed, each one of these, we have 2 shared septic systems designed. They are each for 4-bedroom homes. It's one shared road with shared infrastructure. This is really meant to be a very tasteful subdivision. If anything, in my opinion, this would add value to your property. So the big concern of the wastewater shield overlapping onto your parcel should really not be a huge concern, in my opinion.
It just will have an impact, you can't drill well within that dotted line. Called an isolation distance, to keep septic. Sewage. Effluent away from drinking water.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Generally.
But it also. To carry on, I've also designed the system on lot 23, which is a while ago and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was 10 or 15 years ago, but there's also, there is good soil between you and the DMV properties, which. Confirms that you will be able to do something there someday.
It might be worth noting, if you look at the subdivision where their wells are, it's pretty much right on the green line.
Yep.
So that's instructive about how close that could be if necessary.
It can be right up to it, yeah.
Yeah.
You can go right up to it.
I'm just curious, lot 1, they're getting their water shared from one of the other lots?
That's correct. They're sharing with lot 4, Tom.
Yeah.
Based on where the good soils were, where we have the 2.
Yeah, no, I understand. It makes total sense. But obviously you're not putting a well on lot 1. Yeah, I got it.
No.
Yeah.
That's
So
entirely-
lot 1 and lot 4 have a shared well?
They do. That's how the permit was drafted.
Okay. And just so I can get it in the minutes or make sure, so there's was it which lots have share septics?
One and-
Lot 1 and
all of
4,
them.
2 and 3,
1 and 4 and 2 and 3.
correct. Yeah. There's 2 shared systems.
Right.
Is it worth also noting for the neighbors' sake there in the room that this is the second hearing we've had on this, and I think the proposal has improved, so, that's something.
Well,
It's
no.
second meeting.
The first thing, the first,
Is informal.
just like the previous application, the first thing is a sketch plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the sketch plan, we just essentially decide whether it's a major subdivision or a minor. We had some, and so this one is a major because of the number of lots. And we had some feedback that we wanted to see some sort of commonality, some sharing of that back area to make it appropriate for planned residential development, and so they've incorporated that. So now we have tonight's hearing, the preliminary, and then there'll be a final hearing. Which we're darn sure you're gonna get notice of this time.
A certificate of mailing. It doesn't
At
have to be
which point
certified.
there'll be a final plat.
No, I'll do that.
You have
Prepared
to certify if you can.
and submitted.
That was a good summary of the history, I think, and it's worth noting perhaps that, initially it didn't seem to meet the definition of a PUD, and we sort of pushed back on that, and this looks much better, so. Just worth noting.
Okay,
And we'll send certified,
Please.
so you'll get that.
Thank you.
and any other questions for Jason from the board? Okay, and Leah doesn't have any other questions, Brenda?
I just have a comment. It would seem that if this had been divided into 3 lots, it would have saved us all a lot of argument. Has nothing to do with
Okay,
we're dealing
The
with what we
property-
were asked to do, but
The property owner obviously wants to,
or if they
You know.
didn't subdivide at all.
then it'd be even less.
Looking for housing, I mean, this is a very
Yeah.
good use of this
Yeah.
parcel.
All right, any other questions or comments? Leah, you're good?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right, so, I'll move to adjourn.
Can I touch on a couple administrative things first?
Okay,
Very quick, I think.
you guys are done. You can pack up.
Okay.
So do you need
Well,
to,
I
do
assume
wait a
your,
minute,
assume your questions don't have to do with this proposal.
and do you have to have a formal approval on preliminary?
I don't
Will you
think
guys
so.
close the hearing for preliminary?
No,
Just reconvene?
You,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
don't
close the
think so.
hearing. Yeah, you close the hearing.
yeah, no, the preliminary is over, but we don't.
The only problem is, was there a notice defect for this hearing? Maybe you gotta fix it?
Well, the notice defect was cured by her attendance.
Yeah, but other people should be getting notice too.
Council, my area showed up, nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the only one.
Yeah, I think you've gotta, if I was you, Jason, I think I'd fix that notice defect.
I think we should notify tomorrow and just
Do
keep
you
the
wanna-
hearing,
do you
keep the
wanna
hearing
do-
open. and
do you want to do, so do you want to do a second?
Just continue the hearing?
And it'll be another preliminary hearing.
Sure.
Okay, that's a good point. We need a date certain.
First, the second Tuesday of
But thanks, Tom, for that.
December 12th again, same as Heffernan was listed, wanted to do her.
What else do we have on that day?
That's it.
I do agree with the chairman that it's obviously not a problem for Leah because she's here, but there may be somebody else who's not.
That's a good point, and I was,
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go.
The problem, if the problem, was not limited to Leah's notice, the way to make sure that is to do it over, so I think that's a really good point.
And
So were any of the other property owners
No.
notified
No.
of the first?
Oh, okay,
Of the sketch plan, the first sketch?
we
plan?
we
don't
don't
notify,
notify for sketch.
we don't notify for sketch.
Sketch is not an official hearing.
Okay.
And by the way, it'd be nice too, because every town does notifications different.
Yes. it
Some
does.
towns, we only provide a stamped envelope, and the zoning administrators do their own notifications. Starksboro and Moncton do their own notifications. So it's just one of those ones. In some towns, we have to do the notification as in this one, but we didn't used to before your new regs.
Right.
It was last year, you were doing the notifications, I believe, correct?
Mm-mm,
Or was that Moncton?
that was Moncton.
All I can tell you is, as someone who's done this for a lot of years, I wake up in a cold sweat at night once in a while, worrying about notice stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna continue this preliminary subdivision meeting to December 12th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already know that.
7 p.m.
Same time, same place.
I'm gonna put that in a
That's
letter,
a good point, Tom. I
and
appreciate it.
I'll do notifications to make sure, and
Okay,
I'll send that to you. But in the meantime, what I would like to do is if there aren't any more layout changes with the plan,
yeah,
we still have to finish up the stormwater. So this December 12th hearing is not gonna delay us.
okay,
We'll continue on. If the board does, if the board has any comments with our plan.
I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the stormwater takes a couple of months to permit.
right. So, and if you want to bring in an updated drawing.
And we'll also have the easements added to the plan
Yeah,
for the
that's what I'm
December
saying.
12th.
and put
That'd be
that in
awesome.
there.
And essentially, we'll be ready, we'd be ready to go to final.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Is there any, and they just asked, is there a way we could do preliminary and final on the same night? Of the 12th?
Well, not, I would say no, given, that's no different from what we were gonna do until Tom spoke up and you were saying.
No,
oh,
but I
we're
mean,
gonna
essentially,
cancel
we
this.
would be, we could notify, I mean, it would be, we could open one hearing, close it and go to final.
Yeah, Kevin would have to tell you on that one. I've seen that done other places, but I don't think I've ever seen it done in Vermont.
I've
Yeah.
done, I actually have, I've done it in some towns in
Yeah.
Vermont.
Okay, I know there are places that have done it. I just
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm
We didn't pass.
It's not, it's actually not gonna slow us up. We have
Yeah.
some minor modifications to the plan. We still have to get the V-Trans permit and we still have to apply for the stormwater.
yeah.
I mean, we can do it, 2 weeks after that. We meet every
No,
2
you
weeks.
can't.
No, it's.
No, you have
It's the day after Christmas. It's,
Oh,
it's
sorry about that.
January
Yeah.
9 would be the next available date.
That Santa Claus has that whole night.
He does, he's
So
recovering.
we'd be ready for January 9th regardless.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that way it's belts and suspenders on notice. We haven't opened us or the applicant up to some challenge about preliminary and final on the same day. There wasn't time in between to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
No, I think
I agree.
it's the right way.
And people need that time. so.
Well, and also, and what if there were some additional idea or issue raised by the board at the second preliminary and you got the final the same day, you can't react, there's no time to react to it.
Well, that's why any feedback is, at this point in time, we would be happy.
Yeah, when you know what you need for the next one anyway. pretty
Exactly.
much. Okay.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna let Jason go unless you have a question for him, John
Thank you.
and Leah.
No, unless you wanna say, no,
Thank you.
sounds
Thanks for
so
bringing that
exciting,
up.
but I think I'll pass.
Thank you. Sorry you didn't get noticed, but now
You will.
you want to take things up with the person on the wastewater.
They'd be happy. Terry Shearer he's been a regional engineer for about 30 years. He'd be happy to explain it. And I believe he'll explain it the exact same way that I did. So there's not.
All right, what's up, John?
Actually, you probably. won't have another time in Heinsberg.
Ross?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good.
Hey, guys. I don't mean to be pushy, but
He's my brother.
What's up?
He didn't wanna come tonight because of conflict of interest.
What's up, John?
Otherwise-
Yeah, three quick things. One, can we get materials a little sooner? When there's a lot of stuff like tonight, it would be helpful to have them sooner. I don't know if that's whatever. I just wonder, could we get them even the Friday before a meeting or something?
I'm trying. We're horribly short-staffed right now, and I'm doing the best. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting them to you as fast as I can, John.
Yep, the applicants have them in early, right? They're required to get them in a couple of weeks before or something.
Yeah, what I'm thinking, what we don't want, and it's happened sometimes, is the hearing's been published, the notice, and then you've been given new stuff pretty damn late.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, so and it shouldn't, because you shouldn't know until you get a complete application, but when you
Correct.
get the complete application and the public notice goes out, I'm happy to get it then.
Okay, I've had other boards.
I know you had a snag of a week, so.
Yeah, and not only that, but we've also I had other boards where I would send it out early and they complained they were getting it too early and they would lose it. So at a minimum, I will send out the link. John, if I send out the link in advance, would that be adequate?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what you usually send, I think, for us.
Okay, perfect. And I'll send you.
That'd be great. And likewise, similar question, my second one, when materials are updated, like, I don't know, an ongoing, like this thing we just had, this application we just had, you know, some of the materials are the same the first time we saw them, and sometimes they're updated or it's an additional piece of information. It would be really helpful in the file names if somehow that could be indicated. And I think you did a little bit in like the fire department files tonight, but it would be really, really helpful, especially on the larger projects when there's a lot of items, to know which ones maybe bear first attention or something. So I don't know if that's something you could do.
Yeah, so I organize them in folders, one level up. So what I could actually do is send you out, instead of the link directly into the folder, I can send you the link one above, so you'd have access to both the previous and the current folder, if that would help.
It would be helpful if they're if it's in the title of the file, just so we would know, like updated, like, you know, project narrative updated or something like that, you know.
Okay.
Or if it's a separate doc, you know, what, I don't know, some regimen along that line would be helpful.
Yeah, I try to keep the file names, like when most of the applicants are sending to me in electronic format, and I don't like to change their naming convention because that is part of their submission. But I'll come up with a plan for you so that it's obvious.
It would be helpful.
I'll make a confession. I'm not as organized as John. I read these things right before the afternoon of the meeting. So
I sometimes do too.
I'm so busy that I'm lucky if I can get them read before the meeting. But yes,
that's nice to have an option, and it's just, and when time is short, if you know, if the project narrative, for example, has been updated, if that's readily noticeable, that's helpful too in a short time. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts. My last thing, just for the record, because there was some confusion earlier in the meeting, you know, under site plan review, section 394, as the chairman quoted, this board does have the ability to condition permits on a variety of issues to protect and balance the interest of the neighbors, the town, and the applicant. And indeed, in my mind, that is the very core of what zoning is about and what we're here for. So
yeah, you're just misinterpreting it as best I could. It's just, you can't condition it the way you want to. You can't condition the use.
Well, the section does lay out where we can condition it, like hours of operation, for example.
Sure.
You know, screening, landscaping, parking,
Which
traffic and circulation, pedestrians. There's quite a few things that we are able to condition.
But those are requirements tied into the site plan, not to the use.
right, which is what I was saying without reading the entire thing. Some conditions, yes, but some of the conditions that you were talking about.
And I'm still going to go with the position that conditions, especially of this type, they don't come from the board. They're more suggestions made, and then the applicant has to deal with them, because you can't design their site plan. It's just not appropriate.
But we can impose conditions. So, for example, if the fire guys came to us and said, we want to have trainings 4 days a week, we might be like, that might not fit. And so we might condition their hours of operation.
They're a permitted use in that district, and no, we can't actually tell them how many days a week they can do it.
But it's
hours of operation.
Not
Monday,
really in a site plan.
No.
Yeah,
Monday,
John, I mean,
it's a theoretical discussion. It's 8:45. I want to go home and eat.
I understand that, but it's important for us to, you know, have clear that we may.
Sure, but it depends, right? But we're going to have a disagreement within the board on what the parameters of those listed conditions might be. But you know, let's wait till we have an actual issue that's live before us before we debate it.
It's fine. Well, the regs are clear. They tell us the zones where we, not the zones, but
Yeah,
the-
John, in all due respect, the regs are clear and you're misinterpreting them. They do not say what you think they say. Is
what
all I
is
can,
misinterpreted about may impose conditions?
John, all I can tell you is those, a number of people going to law school and practiced in this area for a long time. You're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Conditions
So-
on certain things.
So anything this board says to an applicant is optional for them? We're just making a polite request?
No,
No,
that's, nobody said that. As you and I have had to do many times, we have to agree to disagree.
yeah, there are permissible conditions under site plan. That's 394 tells us.
That's
what
all
they-
I'm saying. And if you think differently, that's wrong.
Yeah, so
Read the text of the regulations if you're not clear on that.
Maybe
yes.
you should read, a little of the case law surrounding those conditions, which is extensive.
Yeah, so let's go home.
Yeah, okay.
Great.
Yeah.
I would move to adjourn.
All right, so moved.
Right.
In
Thank you.
favor, yes.
Favor, hi.
And Carol, I'll send you,
Hi-ho.
I'll send you the attendance list tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. So
Thank
what-
you, Mr. Chairman. Good meeting. Thank you.